I'm dizzy. Right, so this will be a very short video. As you can probably tell by the title, this is just touching on the Jesse Lingard England call-up, the situation with Mikel Antonio with Jamaica or even England, and our upcoming game against Arsenal. So, starting with Lingard, I think David Moyes said to him in the negotiations, come to West Ham and I'll get you back in England, in the England setup. Now, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm sure he said he insinuated that he will get Lingard back in the England fold. Now, that's a big claim, especially for someone who hasn't represented their country for almost 2 years. England now, I genuinely believe, have got an abundance of players in all positions. So timing, I think, was crucial. Even his selection there are a few absentees, but to his credit, he's come in and done everything you can ask of him and some. So it's a no-brainer. He knows, he's worked with Gareth Southgate before, so it's not like he's someone new who's got to convince Southgate of his ability. He's not that guy. Now it's down to Lingard to do what he's done at West Ham and sort of take the opportunity with both hands. Now, he's more than capable of doing that. I just hope that in the upcoming games, he actually plays him, because there's no point taking him if you're not going to play him, because you want to see, is it the Lingard that you know and you trusted him before. So, yeah, he's only made 24 England caps and he's 28. So 2 years is quite a long time out of in the international wilderness. So I think that he's going to treat it the same way he's treated West Ham, and that is, listen, I'm going to grab this opportunity with both hands. Now, David Moyes has to take a lot of credit for the turnaround in Lingard's sort of situation. Clearly, at Man United, he wasn't getting no minutes at all. And he would have zero chance of making the Euro squad. Now, I think that his value will now go up a little bit more, because he's now international again, especially if he goes there and does well. But I don't think that's too much of a bad thing. I think that if he goes and gets in to the Euro squad, then that should put us in pole position to sign him. Now, I'll say that, and that depends on how well he does and who may well come in for him. Now, if a top four club, if we don't make the top four, which I don't think we will, if we don't make the top four or even Europe, another club might come in for him and offer him European football. But sometimes it's not about the prestige, it's about the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is David Moyes sort of took you out of the wilderness, and within a short space of time has got you back into the international fold. So sometimes you want a bit of loyalty. He's happy at West Ham. He's got a manager that believes in him, a manager that will play him sort of every minute of every game, and someone who has clearly given his mojo back. So I just hope that when it comes to negotiations and whoever comes in for him, that Lingard remembers where he was before David Moyes came in for him. But yeah, credit to Moyes and credit to Lingard. You understand, like, sometimes you can be given a chance, but you have to take that chance. Right, moving on to Mikel Antonio. Now, this is a very sticky situation for me, because Antonio's 30. Obviously, he's still got a few more years in him, but everybody, as a footballer, the pinnacle is international football. Now, in this country, especially if you're born here, then obviously England is the pinnacle. But if you can't get into that squad, then that's why you see people representing other nations. Now, obviously, both his parents are Jamaican. So I understand him wanting to make that switch, because obviously you want to play at, even just saying I played international football, even if you don't get to a tournament, when you finish your career, you want to have that on your resume. Anyone would do, and that's why sometimes some players will pick sort of really small nations, because they want to play international football. Now, what is strange is that he turned down Jamaica, I think 3 or 4 years ago. Now, the other day he's come out and switched alliances and said, listen, I'm picking Jamaica over England. Now, you would imagine that him doing that, he's already had some talks with the Jamaican FA, and they've given him some sort of reassurances that they want him. Now, they've announced their squad for the USA game, and he's not in the squad. You've got people like Andre Gray, who I rate Andre Gray, I do, but he's playing in the Championship. Antonio is playing in the Premier League, and they haven't selected him. So now he's sort of in limbo because England obviously haven't selected him. He's pledged his alliance to Jamaica, and then literally a day or two later, they've now not picked him. So I don't know what's happened there, because you won't. I don't think you'd come out and say, yeah, I'm switching to Jamaica if you haven't had talks with them. Now, if you have had talks with them, why have they not selected him for this squad? Now, I don't know whether Jamaica have remembered that he sort of refused them or turned them down 3 or 4 years ago, and now they are cutting off their nose to spite their face, maybe, because it doesn't make no sense. Now, do I think Antonio is good enough for the England squad? If everybody's available, it depends how many strikers you're taking. If you're taking 4 strikers, then maybe not. If you're taking 5, then maybe yes, because he's a different type of striker to sort of any of the strikers, which would be Calvert-Lewin. Vardy's obviously retired. Kane. You've got Callum Wilson. Bamford's in the reckoning as well. But Antonio is a bit different. And where he's a bit more off the cuff, he's not, like I said, he's not technical like some of those players. But that unpredictability sort of can surprise teams. But realistically, Jamaica would have been a perfect fit for him. So I don't know where that situation is going to go, because like I said, he's 30 years old. He's pledged his alliance to Jamaica, and then the very next day, they've now picked a squad and he's not in it. So I'm hoping that whether it's England or Jamaica, Antonio plays international football. And I hope that, yeah, he hasn't sort of just cut off all these avenues by picking them and then them not picking him. But as with Lingard, look, when there's injuries and stuff like that, you never know. So yeah, I hope that Antonio plays international football in his career. Right, moving on to the game against Arsenal. They lost last night to Olympiacos, but obviously they went through on aggregate. Arsenal was the type of team that you don't know what you're going to get from them. They came back from behind against Spurs, but there's mistakes in them. The only way you're going to sort of exploit Arsenal is if you go at them with an attacking team. If you want to play defensive football against Arsenal, you're playing right into their hands. It's not going to work. We need 3 players or 3 front players that are going to press and press and press, because you know that they're going to try and play it out from the back. In Rice and Supercheck, we've got players that if they do have to sort of, they keep the pings it long, that they can win those balls. So we need, if we don't have a front 3 press and we sit off them, then yeah, I could see them winning the game quite easily as well. So we have to approach this game totally different to the game against Manchester United. Arsenal is, I'd say they're quite vulnerable as well. I think that if we can start well against them and hopefully take the lead, then it could be a tough game for them, and yeah, we could make it easier for ourselves. I don't know who's still injured and who's available. I'm hoping Fornals is back. I'm hoping Ben Rama starts. I'm hoping Bowen starts. I'm hoping Antonio starts. Those 4 I want as our sort of front 3 or 4. Yeah, because the last game against Manchester United was poor. It was poor viewing. It was disappointing. So I hope that, as with Moyes and West Ham this season, we bounce back sort of in the next game. I don't know how much that defeat would have taken out of them, because they went through anyway, but a defeat's a defeat. So let's hope that Arsenal is not too high on confidence, and let's hope that West Ham give this a real go. Yeah, so that's it. Quick video. Any dreams, any goals, any aspirations in life? Stay focused, stay on track, don't let no one deter you. And by that, I mean, don't let no one burst your bubble. West Ham v Arsenal next game. Come on, you Irons.